Hello and good day. Right, we're going to do a face-off today. Get them razors out in a minute, I'll show you them in a minute. But I've got quite a few razors ready this week, so I thought I'd show you some. Just as most people want to see the razors at the end of the day, they don't want to see my mug, do they? This one is a trustworthy Maplin & Webb Royal Cutlery Works Sheffield. It's got some lovely scales. It's on the sort of smaller side. It has got lovely steel, it sits lovely on the stones. Does it say anything the other side? No, it's just plain the other side. Very delicate scales on this one, they're lovely. They've got some lovely serrations and patterns. Oh, I'll try not to get these too wet. These are all ready to test shave. I've got my really fancy test shave box. Got a few more of these razors ready today as well, not today but over this week. This is part of my 7-day set. Joseph Elliott's, all kind of like half hollow, lovely grinds, lovely shiny metal on these and lovely scales. This one's the smallest one out the lot, and this one, well, I wouldn't say it's had damage, but somebody's had a bit of a go at this with a device, we'd call it, because it's got some strange grind marks on it that shouldn't be there, definitely not factory. But alas, yeah, that's the worst one out the lot, and it's the one that's sort of got cut down width. It's not its complete width. What day is that? That is a Thursday. That's the Thursday one. This is one of my first Boca ones. Boca, I'm not sure. German, Solingen. And this one, well, it did have nicely etched on it, King Cutter, but most of the etching's gone now. But great steel. It's mega thin grind. Really thin. I don't know whether that's going to really pick that up, but it really is a super thin grind. And the reason I know it's good metal is because it had a little chip and had some sort of weird bits towards the toe, and it took forever to get them out for something that was so thin in metal. One of my favourite little razors is called, well, this one's a number 24, but you get MK24s as well. Mr. Carl Victor, CV Hellisterland. These are just the best little razors in my opinion. They're a quarter hollow, near wedge, and they really did, for me, the best Swedish steel was used in these. Like, they were the number one, I know I've said it before in other videos, but they were the number one razor in all the Nordic countries for decades, supposedly. One of my razors got a new edge on it, MK32. I did a little bit of polishing work on the shank and stuff, so I thought, well, let's put a new edge on it while we're at it, just to make sure. I don't think I damaged the edge at all, because it just went straight from 5 to 8 to 12 to J-nap finisher. This one you see not that long ago, J. Hellberg. It's lovely sort of rattler grind, Swedish razor, tremendous steel, man, really is. That one's, yeah, sorry, a J.A. Hellberg. I'll be keeping that for a while. It's a lovely razor. So make sure I don't drop them. And this is another one of my 7-day set, and that's more representative of the other 6. It's a lovely razor, really is. Like I said, half hollow, thereabouts. Just impeccable craftsmanship, really, truly, just some of the best craftsmanship, well, I've seen, frankly. And if you don't know about Joseph Elliott's, he was Joseph Rogers and Geo Wolstenholme's kind of main competitors, really. Those three really duked it out for a long time. And this is one of my other ones. So I've got 3 of them shaved ready now. Got a nice little box as well that's got the Joseph Elliott's branding and stuff on the inside of the velvet. Just thought I'd show you some. Some of them are for sale, but I won't be doing any listing today. This week, it'll be a couple of weeks. Oh, I've got a razor injury as well, if you care to know. See it? Nasty little cut right on my bloody joint. Cutting tape to put on the spines when I'm on the real low grits. Yeah, just real silly thing to do, I tell you. Really silly. I went like that through the tape, like some ninja with a knife. with my razor. Don't do it. Don't do it. Didn't hurt though, I must say. So today I'm going to be shaving with my Filarmonica. What is it? That's how we go on. I nearly always forget. Especial para Barbas Duras, and it means for tough beards. This is the razor that I did some restoration work on. So I put a new, well, you can't call it rubber because it's not rubber anymore, but there used to be originally a rubber finger guard on here, because these were made predominantly for barbers, at least that's what the story was told. You know, to protect their fingers. If you're using a cutthroat all day, you know what I mean, you'd end up with nodules and God knows calluses, what else on your knuckles, wouldn't you, from using it. So, you know, the wise razor men thought, hey up, let's put that on there and it'll help them. Thing is, they deteriorate with age. Rubber don't last forever, especially in use. So this one came without one, and I always said I've got to try and figure a way of doing it, and there's various ways you can do it. You can get some pen sort of grips that but then you've got to take it off, you know, the pivot and everything. I use something called Sigru. I'll write it in the link. It's one of my most favourite razors. It truly is a great razor. It really is. And I've had 2 other Filis apart from this, and this one's just always stood out. I don't know, whatever it is, it's always stood out. But the reason I re-honed it as well is because last time I went to use it, it wasn't passing the HHT right at the back here on the heel, and it did after I'd stropped it a number of times and kind of sorted it out again. But I thought, something's not quite right with that, and I did kind of think it was like that when I shaved with it the time before. But anyway, when I put it under the microscope and I put the magnification down to sort of damn near the highest I can do, I noticed there was these tiny little microchips, and they were tiny, really were tiny, but they were affecting the shave. So I've honed them out. I took it down very briefly to a 2000. You're talking 10, 15 laps, 5,000, 8,000, 12,000, and then my J-nap finisher. And it pops hairs like nobody's business now. I'm just going to give it a quick, you know, go on the old strop, just because I can, because I want to. I've not had a go on this razor, so I thought I'd better treat it. It's my vintage horse shell hide that I renovated and made good. Renovated, restored, renewed. It's got a nice ring to it. Just a lovely razor. I'm not somebody that says Filarmonicas are the best razors, but they're definitely up there with them. You know, there's a reason they've got such a good following. This one's about 24mm. That's enough of that. And then I'm going to shave test it with this beautiful Klas. And this is one I showed you before. You've seen it before. I think this is the one that it had a rolled, like, convex edge, and I stropped it to death to get it shaving again, like as I got it in the post, and it did shave. Tiny bit bitty in that. Tiniest bevel on this, really is. The steel is just wonderful. You actually struggle to find the bevel on the microscope. It's that tiny in places. I don't know whether the old camera and whatnot's going to pick up these scales in a manner of their complete delightfulness, but this is a new scale material I got. Well, tortoiseshell, fake tortoiseshell, whatever you want to call it. I practiced some new sort of things on it. So I'm a 3-pinner. I've got no collar or nothing on there, like at all. It's just a piece of pin, and then inside there's a little tiny bit of brass tube that I went through as well. So it's my first kind of just pinning over on just bare metal stock, basically, without the collars. I think it turned out lovely. I've got a lovely Klas Tornbolm box, like leather clad case for this as well, for 2 razors. So, and I have got a frame back that might enter it, but we'll see. I'm on the lookout for a nice Klas, something that can complement this one really. and I'll compare them up. Just a lovely razor. Some of the grinding on it, like, it's hard to tell on the film and everything, but some people call this kind of grind the complex grind, like when it goes onto the shank like this. But this is even more complex. It's got like a flayed part to it, which was, whoever did it is just so skillful in the grinding to make it symmetrical and everything. It's so hard to pick up on the camera as always. Won't do it justice, but either, it's a beauty, really is. And then one of my favourite things is fancy toes. Not in real life, by the way, just on razors. And this one's got like a really beautiful grind pattern on it. I'm really fond of that. It really does, to me, add something to the embellishment side and the craftiness of it. Anyway, that's me done on my razors. Let's have a shave, eh? Forgot to do the water, so sorry. Chops in away, chops in away. Today I'm going to be shaving with British leather. That's my go-to when I fancy a nice sort of almost posh shave, I call it, I think. Bit posh. Have a bit of a preen today. As you can see, I've got a fair amount of gruff. You know, hard times with it in the UK. It's been my whole lifetime we've been in austerity, as they like to call it. It's not actually, it's just fake tax upon fake tax upon fake tax upon fake tax. You know. So yeah, I ain't had a shave now for weeks, it feels like. It's actually only been 8 days, I think. You know, cutbacks, got to save on the water. Just haven't been able to fit it in, basically. My little lady's gone back to school and they've been doing all sorts of weird half days and everything. It's been an absolute pain in the bum. But we are out of that now, nearly. Let's get the old lava going. I'm definitely going to get a bowl, I think. First proper shaving bowl. Well, I say first. Well, I said proper, didn't I? That's true, yeah. I've had all sorts of, I've had them ceramics, I've got a really nice little one actually, like a ceramic one, it's really pretty. But it's just a bit too small. If it was just that little bit tiny bigger, I'd be sorted then. But I've seen a nice resin one that's got some like red colours in it, I think. So I got my eye on that. I've seen a nice copper one as well. But some people say it oxidises weird, and so I'm a bit unsure with a copper. But anyway, Christmas present to myself maybe. Let's get this gruff off. I've cut my nails, cut my nose. Bit of preening today, eh? Bit of preening. Male preening, nothing better. I think it is nearly gone into a form of a beard. It's gone past the itchy bit, it's gone to the soft stage. I've never grown a beard. Will I ever? I'm not too sure. It smells delightful. Might need a little tiny bit more today, I don't know. Excited to shave with that Klas, I must say. Them tortoiseshell scales are just beautiful, man. You know, it's a really good representation of the real one as well. Like, you know, you get some other companies have tried it and they're a bit crap really. But that one's really good, and it's just not showing it to its full potential in here really, like the lighting and everything. And it's got a bit more polishing to be added on them as well. And I think that Filarmonica was a bit guilty of me trying to rush it through the stones to, well, also my self-preservation society thing with my metal as well. Trying to save the metal as best as I can. I've been honing a lot this week. I've got a lot of razors coming through the stones. Some of them are right old corkers. I bought another King Cutter Bocker one only a couple of days ago. The dude said it's in the post. And that's a near mint of that is. It's got all its metal gilding and everything. And I've got my first proper Fisher razor as well. Oh, I just dropped my bloody brush in the sink. What a donk, my daughter would say. Let's put a bit more in it. What was yeah, I got my first like proper nice Fisher razor. I've had quite a few Fisher razors over the years, but they've always had really bad sort of homeware and stuff, especially towards the toes. You know, when you get them and they're like that. Some real bad ones, like some razors that would have been right corkers as well. Like, you know, I'm talking 7/8, real thick spine Fishers, big razors. Like, feel heavy even though they've got all that spine wear. But this one's not, and the metal's just lovely on it. Really sort of real nice, smooth feel to it through the stones, like doing the laps. Right, the old Fili. Don't know if you know it, but on some of these Fili models, and I think it's this EPBD, it's got like this. They ain't got spaces here like washers, but it's moulded into the actual like resin scales. It's quite clever how they've done it. It's very neat as well when you look at it. It's very well done. Right, I've got here. Get some of them bad boys on. Oh, you hear that? I think it's because it's next to my ear, but whoa. Trying to get my fluff off. There's one there though, that don't want to come off. No, I'm not hitting it. Just keeps bending it. Right, let's have a little feel. Oh dear. She's the one, gents. Lovely razor. Can go looking like from a homeless person. You can go from a homeless looking sort of person to a semi-respectable looking person in one foul sort of swoop. Like I said before, there's no other razor than a straight razor that can deal with gruff in that manner. I sold another razor to somebody that was getting, well, first going on the old straights, and first few shaves I don't think he was getting his angle kind of right, and I think he other people were sort of mentioning lava as well, because lava does sort of pay, well, as an impact we call it, but he's getting on. God, you hear that? Wildly different sound. Wow, that is, hang on, let me give that a quick strop. Not because it needs it, it's just because I've not stropped it on this razor up here. I forgot it. It's something that I wanted to do. Feels nice though. Just sounds really different, doesn't it? This strop even gives off like a leather smell when you strop on it. It's really like sensory kind of. You got the sound, you got the touch, the feel, and then also you get this odour of sort of, well, Barbary kind of leather. It's nice. I've had a gent buy another Bengal off me this week, and he actually sent me a Bengal that Bengal that he got himself. It's a nice one, it's a 3-pinner, it's got some lovely etching. So I'm restoring, well, I've restored it, I've just got to hone them both now. They're both up to the 1000 grit now. Quite a good comparison as well. You can understand why the old Barbas like the Filis, because if you notice, that was sort of dragging and picking up a little bit of hair that I'd already cut, and sometimes it was doing just a couple of kind of I don't know what you call them, like blind passes in a way, like where it weren't shaving quite properly, because it was actually riding some of the hairs that were on the face of the blade. It's interesting. Lovely razor though. It's definitely one of my prettiest little razors. I've sold so many razors over the years like this that I've regretted, and when this one come in I was like, this one's not going. I've got an Eric Anton Berg that's coming through the stones, and it's a frame back, but it's got this lovely grinding on it when it's ready to go. God, you see the state of my sink. I'll give it a show off. Whoever had it before me really knew how to look after a razor and understood what to do in terms of like setting up like the initial kind of grinding phase of it on the lower grits, because they've really put a really good job on it. They really have. And whoever set it correctly in the like the factory obviously knew what they were at as well. Eric Anton Berg, definitely one of the best tool makers the world's ever seen, I reckon. To say their catalogue was extensive is just the understatement of the century. You could quite literally go to him with an idea, and as long as you were willing to buy so many of them, he'd then make 100 of them and put it in his catalogue with a small amount of stock. So if you was a gentleman's outfitter and you wanted to design your own kind of razor style within the obvious limits of, you know, manufacturing, he would. Two tiny bevel razors. It's interesting how they're both shaped quite different. And obviously you expect that, like with the size difference, but at the end of the day, the edges are very similar. Same stone, same size bevel, is tiny. Let's just wet this up a tiny bit. So yeah, all done. 2 passed. Lovely jubbly. We can now get on with the day. Imperative that you dry everything as best as you can. So like I've said before, I always, after I've dried, I always strop, even if it's only sort of like a few laps, just to make sure the edge is clear, clean and dry. And then I always leave my razors open like that. Got like a little box in my room. I'll just put them in the box, leave them 24 hours, and then I'll give them a little bit of an inspection. Sometimes I'll give them a tiny little few laps. Again, that's just to make sure, doubly sure, nothing's settled on the very apex of the bevel. And then put them wherever they're then going to live for a while. Let's have a little feel. What one do we reckon will be closer? I have to say the Fili felt a bit sharper. The old Klas sounded very sharp. Well, there's nothing to choose in them, there really ain't. I always like to be a bit picky with that, but there's really nothing. Very close all round. Lovely jubbly. Right, I love you and leave you. Have a good day, everybody. And maybe I'll see you again. Sorry, toodaloo.